Superman of science, and he loves to play with fire. And the things he'll do, you can too, if you so desire. Do try this at home with Mr. G.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Do Try This at Home. I'm your host, Mr. G, and Do Try This at Home is the show that takes ordinary household items, like I've got in front of me right here, and turns them into something extraordinary. Today we're going to go back in time, back to an old episode that I made a while back called Toyland. You might remember it. Well, today is Toyland 2, and today we're going to make 3 separate toys. I hope you're ready for this. They're pretty cool. Let's start out with just some simple string. I've got some colored string here. This was yo-yo string from a yo-yo that I've got. And you're going to need some string, and you're also going to need some buttons, or a button, at least one button. And the button should be a pretty large, at least 1 inch across button, and a heavy button. And it's going to need to have at least 2 holes in it. This one has 4. We're going to take this button, and what I'm going to do, let me get closer to the camera so I can show this to you. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to simply put the string through the one hole in the button and bring it back out through the opposite hole on the other side here, so that you've got something like this. Okay? Now, you're going to take the other end right here, and you're going to tie the other end together like this. Okay? Tie it in a square knot. If you know what that is, it's just kind of like 2 loops. Fairly good knot. There we go. Now, what we do next is we're going to take the whole thing, and we're going to make it so the knot's over here behind our hand. We're going to take it and we're going to hold it like this between our thumbs or our fingers, however you want to do that. And then we're going to wind that up a little bit by doing this. Oh, it came out of my finger over here. Out of my thumb. Okay. Then we're going to start this motion back and forth like this. Listen to the sound that makes. I call this a horizontal yo-yo because it just continues to go one direction and then the other. And what's so cool about this is the feeling that you have when you're pulling on this is kind of like a lot of power there. And you know what? There is quite a bit of power there. In fact, there's so much speed to this that it can create a lot of friction. It actually burns something. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me set something heavy on top of this so it doesn't go flying like it did in an earlier take. Ooh, went flying across the table. And we're going to get our little horizontal yo-yo going, and we'll see if it'll actually burn through this plate. Styrofoam plate. Wow. 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 You see this, it's actually almost through the thing. It's actually making huge marks in the plate here, as you can see. Take a look at that. See how that almost looks like it burned through the plate, the styrofoam? Well, actually, that does get quite hot. It actually is melted a little bit there. And the edges of our button have got some styrofoam on. But anyway, the horizontal yo-yo. It's a lot of fun. It takes a little bit of practice to get going good. But once it's going, listen to the sound it makes. That is so cool. Okay, that's a horizontal yo-yo. It's a lot of fun. You can mess around with that, different length strings, all kinds of stuff. The next thing I'd like to show you is also pretty cool, but I'm going to save the best for last, so stick around. For this, what you're going to need is you're going to need some form of flame. Yeah, there we go. I've got like a little Bunsen torch here. I think that's what's called, benzomatic torch. We're going to need a pair of pliers, and we're going to need a penny, and an old CD that you don't want, a CD that you don't care about. We're going to hold the penny in the pliers, and we're going to heat it up. You want this penny to get pretty hot. So we're going to heat that up here, as you can see. Use extreme caution when you do this, don't get burned. You can do it over a candle, it might be easier if you don't have a flame like this, or any normal lighter, but holding a lighter on that long may also burn your thumb. So just use a lot of caution when heating up your penny. Get your penny real nice and hot, and hold it, of course, in pliers or you'll definitely get burned. Next, take your CD, and in the center hole, place the penny in a fashion like that. And then release it from, if you can, there we go, from your pliers. Now what you're looking for is the penny to be straight up and down. Don't touch it, it's extremely hot. I know I'm touching it a little bit to align it, but there you go. You want your penny to be straight up and down and right in the center of the CD and have it melt into those two edges. Let me get a little closer to show you that. See how that looks? Okay, now we're going to set that aside and let it cool. Once that's cool, we'll come back to it and we'll show you exactly what we've made. Now, for the next one, which is the last toy, ow, that's hot. I touched it by accident. For the last toy, what you're going to need is you're going to need an old plastic propeller like this, or you could use a styrofoam plate and some skewers, and you're just going to need a piece of dowel rod. You're going to want to drill the center of your old plastic propeller that you got off of an old toy or something. You're going to drill the center of it so that the hole fits the dowel rod perfectly, if that's at all possible. Let's see. I thought I had it, but maybe I don't. And then you want to compression fit your dowel rod, there it goes, right into the propeller so it fits in there real nice like that. Now, what's so special about this? What's so special about this is watch. You take your hands, you give it a twist, and watch what happens. Nothing. Let's try it again. I know what's wrong. My propeller is on the wrong direction. And so my twist is going the wrong way. Let's turn it over. Because I like to twist it counterclockwise. That's easier for me. Ah, there we go. Ready? Here we go. Wow! The thing flew off the table and across the room. It stayed up for quite a while. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that. Look at that. Here we go. Okay, we're going to take this toy outside and play with it here in a second, because it's a lot of fun. Let's get back to our second toy, the penny in the CD. That's cool now. Now, this toy you're going to want to keep around. It's just a simple top. But why are you going to want to keep it around? Because in a later episode, we're going to use this top to do some pretty cool stuff. Not today, though. Ready? You want to give it a good hard spin. And it actually spins really well. There you go. You've made a CD top. And it spins great. This thing will stay spinning for a very, very long time. So a simple penny melted into the center of a CD, and you've got a CD top. Let's take this outside and play with it, shall we? Whoops. Before we do, though, before I take this outside and show you how well it actually works, let me show you another one that I made. I used wooden skewers, well, they're actually bamboo probably skewers for barbecuing, and I broke one in half. Then I took, and from the foam plate, I cut just two little, there it is, just two little flat pieces of foam that are about, I'd say 4 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide. And then at about a 30-degree angle, I glued those to the skewer, as you can see, the half skewer. Then I took a whole one, and I simply put some glue on it. Some super glue is what I'm using to do this, just ordinary super glue. I took some super glue and I glued it to the center of that. Then I put some string around it. You can see how I did that right there, so that it would hold really well. And this one, it makes a great indoor flyer. Ready? And you don't need that plastic propeller. Here we go. Look at that. And it just goes for a short distance, but it does fly. It's very cool. Now, let's take our plastic one outside because it can handle higher winds and higher skies. Let's go. Okay, we're out in the backyard with our, what I like to call hand propeller. And here it goes. Watch, I'm going to get down here. We're going to give it a good launch. Look at that thing go. Wow, that thing flew really high. And you can get these things to go pretty far. Let me go back a little further so you can see how far it's going, and I'll shoot it toward you. Here we go. Look at that. It'll fly. If you angle it, it'll fly away from you. It'll also fly straight up. Let's give it one more flight, and then we're done for today. Awesome. I'm Mr. G. Do try this at home. Toyland. I have done a video. Okay. And it doesn't work because the penny wasn't hot enough. Okay, let's start that over again. What you want to do is you want to give it a good, hard spin. Whoops. Not like that. Let's do that. Let's start that again. I'm your host, Mr. G, and today is our second installment that cappened the cap. The cappendy. That cappened. Hi cappendy. Hi captain. Oh, God, let's start over. I'm losing my marbles. And turns them into something extraordinary. I'm your host, Mr. G, and today the dog's having reverse sneeze fits.